Is Air Force One nearing the end of an era as Trump's Qatari jet moves closer to entering the spotlight? After more than 3 decades of service, the iconic presidential aircraft could soon be preparing for its final chapter. Trump's luxury Qatari jet is now drawing attention as a possible addition to the future presidential fleet. Could this be the last ride for the famous 747 as its long-awaited replacement waits in the wings? White House officials bid farewell to one of the aircraft that has been used by US presidents for decades. The aircraft has long been a symbol of presidential travel and American executive power. The aircraft returned from the G7 summit shortly before officials posted emotional tributes online. Several members of the administration shared messages reflecting on its years of service. Trump aide Stephen Chung described the flight as the last ride of the iconic presidential jet. His remarks highlighted the aircraft's historic role in presidential transportation. U.S. Chief of Protocol Monica Crowley said she was honored to be aboard the aircraft during its final flight this week. She described the journey as a memorable moment in aviation history. The plane has transported every U.S. president since George H.W. Bush after entering service. It has remained a key part of presidential travel for more than 3 decades. The aircraft is one of 2 VC-25A jets that have served as Air Force One since 1990. Both planes have carried presidents on domestic and international missions. The farewell post sparked speculation about the arrival of a Boeing 747 reportedly donated by Qatar. The online discussion quickly focused on the future of presidential air travel. Reports say Trump may use the new aircraft during a visit to Mount Rushmore next month. The trip could mark one of the aircraft's first high-profile appearances. The U.S. Air Force said the Qatari jet has completed testing and is nearly ready for service. Officials indicated that final preparations are now underway. Officials also said the aircraft will soon join the executive airlift fleet alongside existing jets. It is expected to support a range of government transport missions. The plane is known as the VC-25B bridge aircraft and will support presidential missions. It is intended to serve until newer replacement aircraft become available. Qatar's gift has triggered ethical and constitutional questions across the United States. Critics have questioned the implications of accepting such a high-value foreign donation. Concerns have also been raised about security risks linked to a foreign-donated presidential aircraft. Some experts argue that additional scrutiny will be required before operational use. The current Air Force One fleet features advanced defensive systems designed to counter missile threats. These capabilities help protect the aircraft during high-risk missions. The plane can jam enemy radar and infrared tracking systems while also deploying flares. These countermeasures are designed to defeat heat-seeking missile attacks. Trump has long pushed for replacing the aging presidential aircraft fleet. He has repeatedly argued that newer jets are needed for future presidential travel. He said rejecting the Qatari aircraft would be stupid given the delays affecting Boeing's replacement program. Trump pointed to the ongoing wait for next-generation presidential jets. Meanwhile, Boeing continues work on 2 new presidential 747-8 aircraft. The project has faced years of delays and rising costs. All of this comes as Trump signed a long-awaited memorandum of understanding with Iran aimed at ending the conflict in the Middle East. The agreement is being presented as a major diplomatic development. US President Donald Trump and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian have formally signed the Memorandum of Understanding. The 14-point agreement is designed to end hostilities between the 2 countries and reopen the Strait of Hormuz to normal navigation. The memorandum establishes a 60-day ceasefire period during which both sides will pursue negotiations on a broader final agreement. Trump signed the document during a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on June 18. Meanwhile, President Pezeshkian signed the memorandum in Iran, completing the process from Tehran's side. The agreement begins with a region-wide ceasefire, aiming to halt hostilities and lay the groundwork for a permanent end to the conflict. Both sides have pledged to respect each other's sovereignty and avoid interference in internal affairs, signaling a shift toward de-escalation. Washington and Tehran have set a 60-day deadline to negotiate a broader final agreement, with an option to extend talks if needed. The United States has agreed to begin lifting its naval blockade, while Iran will gradually restore normal shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has agreed to ensure free and safe passage for commercial vessels traveling between the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman for a limited period of 60 days. The memorandum outlines plans for a massive $300 billion economic development initiative aimed at supporting Iran's recovery. The The United States has agreed in principle to discuss sanctions relief as part of a broader and mutually accepted final settlement. Iran has reaffirmed that it will not pursue nuclear weapons, while both sides work on a framework for managing enriched uranium. Until a final agreement is reached, Iran will maintain its current nuclear activities and the US will avoid new sanctions or military deployments. The agreement allows for sanctions waivers that could enable Iranian oil exports and related financial services to resume. Both sides will explore pathways toward financial normalization, including discussions on frozen assets and economic access. Once initial commitments are implemented, negotiations will expand to address all remaining issues required for a lasting settlement. Progress toward a final agreement will depend on both sides demonstrating compliance with ceasefire and maritime obligations. Any final agreement is expected to be submitted to the United Nations Security Council for international legal backing and enforcement. As Iran and the US sign the Memorandum of Understanding, analysts are already raising alarm over several factors that could derail the upcoming rounds of negotiation talks. Experts warn that a wide array of political, regional, and security hurdles could still derail US and Iranian efforts to turn this framework into a truly comprehensive peace agreement. Many analysts are skeptical that the two sides can actually forge a full and final settlement within the tight 60-day window laid out in the current Memorandum of Understanding. Trump says Iran pledged never to develop a nuclear weapon. US demands Iran's near-bomb-grade uranium be shipped out or destroyed. Tehran rejects removal of its uranium stockpile. Iran has indicated it may consider diluting enriched uranium. Both sides have discussed a possible enrichment moratorium. Proposed moratorium periods have ranged from 5 to 20 years. Unclear if Iran will accept inspection regime similar to 2015 deal. 2015 agreement included extensive monitoring measures. Trump withdrew from deal. Opening of the Strait of Hormuz is in effect after June 18 MOU signing. US insists transit through Hormuz stays toll-free. Iran demands a continued management role. Post-war Hormuz control still under dispute. Iran seeks lasting influence over key waterway. Iran wants rapid lifting of US economic sanctions. Washington insists sanctions relief will be gradual. Tehran seeks access to billions in frozen assets. US-linked sanctions easing to Iranian compliance. MOU offers Iran immediate waivers for oil sales. White House wary of optics around releasing funds. Trump unlikely to endorse direct cash transfers. Netanyahu says Israel not bound by any US-Iran agreement. Trump's snub to Netanyahu helps ease tensions, but risks remain. Iran insists any deal must include a Lebanon ceasefire. Israel warned troops will continue to remove threats in southern Lebanon. Iran says Israel's presence in South Lebanon would annul US MOU. US and Iranian teams face major differences in negotiating styles. Trump pushes for rapid results while Iran favors lengthy bargaining. American negotiators may lack the technical depth of past teams. Iranian counterparts are seasoned veterans of complex negotiations. Experts doubt 60 days is enough for a detailed final agreement. Obama-era nuclear negotiations took nearly 2 years to conclude. Deep Iranian distrust of Trump remains a major obstacle. Tehran cites past US strikes during talks as reason for caution. US-Israeli strike that killed Khamenei and family still casts shadow. Negotiators may instead pursue a limited agreement or extended talks. The release of the US-Iran memorandum has triggered a fierce battle over who emerged victorious from the negotiations. While Washington portrays the agreement as a framework tied to Iranian compliance, Tehran is presenting it as a major diplomatic win. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says the deal reflects what he calls a failure of US pressure on Iran. Ghalibaf argues that history will judge the agreement as evidence that Washington failed to impose its demands on Tehran. Iran's parliament speaker also claims the memorandum includes provisions for roughly $300 billion in future investment for Iran. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said, and I quote, "The other side is not willing to accept that it was the aggressor, because in that case it would have to pay all damages." Instead of paying compensation, the text emphasizes concepts such as reconstruction and economic development. Within this framework, $300 billion in investment has been envisaged, part of which will be allocated to reconstruction and compensation for damages, unquote. The claim fueled speculation that Tehran had secured major economic benefits in exchange for joining the agreement. However, US officials quickly pushed back against that interpretation. insisting the deal's benefits remain tied to strict conditions and compliance requirements.